And we are back on The Rodriguez Show, and we have our guest for the episode, FaceTiming in on video. Frosty, how's it going?
What's up? It's going pretty good considering the circumstances. Got to stay optimistic for sure. How are you, Mr. Rodriguez?
It's good. I'm good. At home, quarantine. I have to go to work still. My job is still open, so
You are essential. You are essential.
I'm essential, yeah. So
Nice.
it's a little hectic sometimes, but you handle it.
Yeah.
So what is your quarantine consist of now that it's been 2 months? What is it like now for you?
So I'm a very routine oriented person. So when it first started, it really threw me off guard. I was like, what the heck? I have to change everything now. I can't hang out with my friends. I can't do all these things that I used to do to cope with, anxiety, whatever the case may be, like going to the gym or just hanging out with friends, having Mo Better Mondays. But I'm starting to kind of settle in a little bit more now that I'm kind of getting used to the routine. But definitely miss my friends, miss doing a lot of the things that I love, like performing and stuff. I know a lot of artists that you've been interviewing here are probably talking about, missing shows and stuff like that. But yeah, we're holding up.
Yeah. And you still stayed busy. I forgot to do the plugs right away. So yeah, on Instagram, @officiallyfrosty. Coldest in the Room, that was a single that you just dropped with Destruct, and you're still doing Mo Better Mondays every Monday. So it's Sunday for something. Every Monday at 7 p.m. on Instagram. And that was one of the things I wanted to mention was how was that change? How has that worked going from being in the community out to just all virtual now?
Yeah. So it's been pretty rough, honestly, especially because Mo Better Mondays was so focused on coming together as people, face to face. That was one of our kind of slogans, is coming together. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. My alarm's went off.
It's okay.
But yeah, so that was a big part of Mo Better Mondays was physically having those conversations, because there's certain mannerisms and tones that you can't really get via commenting or Instagram live. But it's been pretty we're adapting. But for the most part, I don't know if you've probably been on,
I've seen it, yeah.
hosted a live, and it's literally just, if you're hosting it, it just shows you unless someone requests to be in it. So I'm really thankful for the consistent community who hop on and talk to me, because I get tired of looking at my face. I really miss being out there with the community, but I know we'll do it when it's safe and when we are able to. But for now, this way's going pretty well. Just super different, but we gotta adapt.
Yeah, it's definitely a whole different virtual world that we're all living in to see each other. But I think that I'm happy that you're still doing it, because it meant a lot. There's a lot of people that the regulars that are there all the time, and if that's one of the reasons why we do the show too, is just so we are all still continuing to be hey, we're still here for you. So whenever I see you post a flyer, I'm yeah, good. We got to keep the community alive.
Yeah, for sure. And I appreciate you, and I see you guys doing a weekly thing. It's super hard. Putting stuff together and organizing and continuing to either host an event or put on a show. So kudos to you. You're still finding a way to do it as well. I know how difficult it can be, but it's sink or swim, especially for a lot of companies and stuff. And it's really sad seeing a lot of people sink, but it's also more motivation to keep swimming,
Yeah, exactly. And thank you. And yeah, so like you said, speaking of still creating, you just put out a new single, Coldest in the Room, with Destruct, the homie who's been on the show as well. Nice. How did that Coldest in the Room single come about?
Nice. Yeah, so I believe his significant other, Silva and Gold, her and I were on the same lineup for an event called it's not Sunday Jump, it's Feedback Sunday. It was in LA, and yeah, so I really liked Silva's performance, and then he's a producer, so he hit me up and was like, oh, let's collab, I really dig your style, and we ended up creating this super dope track. The beat is by Figub. He's a foreign producer. I forgot exactly where he's from. I think it's Germany. But yeah, I just wanted to, come come a little differently with my music. I felt like my EP and my other couple songs were very like more slow paced and kind of more gentle, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to do something a little more, you know, in your face and empowering, especially for like women. Like the hook of it is switching up the flow, like we fucking up the road. So pass it to the left until you're broke. You gotta go. So pretty much just saying like, you know, I'm here. I'm switching up the flow. Like I'm changing the way things are going. And I demand respect. So you're gonna give it or you're gonna leave. Yeah, just coming with that energy. And
it is. I mean, and when I heard it, and I don't do it for the pun, but the only way to describe the flow is icy on your verse. So it was like that was smooth, that was icy and aggressive, and it was tight. Yeah. It was definitely a change, but it was still aggressive and it was tight.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I said some controversial lines on there on the song, the track itself, that I was like, should I put this in? I don't know, just kind of like risque. But then that's like part of being like a creative, you know, it's like saying what you want to say. Obviously, don't be like ignorant. Yeah. But
was there a particular line that you were like, I don't know?
All right, so I work in hospice.
Yeah.
So I deal with death every day. And one of the lines I said is, make a living off the dying, guess I'm dancing with death.
Oh,
he don't like
shit.
He preferred a two-step. And I actually wrote this before COVID even happened.
Yeah.
And then I put it out in the middle of COVID, and I was like, is this not acceptable? Like, is this the right time? But also, like, there never is a right time. You know, if I were to not release it because of the circumstances, then I would be censoring myself, going back to that.
I mean, and it's also, it's not like you're like going out and like saying, oh, I hope the coronavirus kills you or something. It's like, it's very like, oh, somebody's dying, but I see what you're saying.
It's definitely a part of life. Obviously, you want to prevent it if we can. So we're not going out doing some ignorant stuff and taking other people's health and stuff into consideration. But yeah, just a couple things that I was like thinking about when releasing it. I was like, I wonder if anyone's going to get offended by this, but.
Because now that you said the place where you work at, that does make sense more to making a living off what you like. It makes the line makes more sense, and you're like, oh, okay, that, you know. Yeah. So I don't think that. I mean, it's good that you put it out because I don't think anybody got offended.
Thank you. Yeah, for sure. But definitely switching it up and working on all different types of styles. That was one of the first singles that was released off of my upcoming album. Nice. I'm actually working on an album with BTE from Apollo Bebop, and he's like the executive producer, so he's helping me like record and stuff because I don't have that insight and knowledge, but he's been doing it for years, so he's definitely helping me a lot, and I'm getting beats from like all different types of people, which is super cool. But yeah, I'm excited to really put it out.
When do you think?
I'm hoping and it's difficult because of this like situation with COVID and stuff. I don't feel like comfortable going and linking up with a lot of people to collab. But I'm thinking December. I mean, not December, sorry. Sometime in the winter.
Okay.
And I think it also affects like, well, when I do release it, I definitely want to have like a listening party, album release party. And hopefully, you know, knock on wood, this pandemic will be a little bit more under control by then. But definitely the winter, my season, I am Frosty, so trying to play a little bit more off that.
Perfect. That's exciting. So you're putting out an album, and you've already established yourself as somebody in the music scene here in Orange County, and it's something that I struggle with as well. Somebody that's like I don't know, spectator, commentator on hip hop, I guess, of the scene and just hip hop in general. What role do you feel like we have somebody to look up to, Latino wise, in the mainstream of hip hop itself? Like, because Bad Bunny's a reggaeton, but like, who, you know?
That's true. Yeah, definitely. It's really it's difficult. And that's kind of the reason why I decided to get into music in the first place. Because when I was younger, growing up, I think I've said it on the show, one of the first that was here, I didn't see very many like more like dark-skinned Chicanas on TV, but unless they were like video vixens or like super sexualized, or you know, singing about something super sexual. But I know that we have a lot a more intricacy than that, as Chicanos, Chicanas, whatever the case may be. But I was actually I don't know if I had this conversation at Mo Better Mondays, but especially being a Chicano in hip hop culture, hip hop is, a product of the Black culture. Yeah. That's where it stemmed from, right? It went kind of from jazz into hip hop, spoken word. They're all kind of blended into this musical genre. Yeah. And I think that because America was built off of, the hard work, forced hard work of Black Americans, Black culture is American culture. Yeah. And I feel like I know a lot of people who immigrated from Mexico, and a lot of undocumented people, and that's what they associate America with, hip hop, all this stuff. So I know a lot of people find, comfort in I actually really like that, because it's a different culture, but it resonates with us, right? And it's a form of expression that's really popular here in America. Yeah. But definitely giving credit where it's due, but working to show that we are here, and we have something to say too. Yeah. And I like your perspective. I didn't think of it that way. I try to think of it that way too, where we can't relate. We can't, if somebody's not identical to me, even me and you, we're not the same, but we can relate through hip hop, through the struggle that other people are putting out. Like you write a song about an issue that you had, and I'd be like, hey, look, I went through something similar, and then that connects. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that perspective. And actually, speaking of that, I forgot to mention, I'm actually releasing a song soon. I want to say in the next month or so. I won't say the title, but it's actually my first song in Spanish. Oh, nice. And I do a little bit of singing in it, and it's all entirely in Spanish. I do a little bit of singing, but I also rap in Spanish. So it's me trying to blend those, two identities of being American and listening to hip hop, and then being Mexican and speaking that language. So I'm really excited about that. Definitely stay on the lookout as well, but gonna try to incorporate it a little bit more, and be the change I want to see in the world. And it's really it was really challenging too, writing it, because I'm not super fluent in Spanish, but I can understand everything for the most part. My grandma speak it to me. I speak it to them. But yeah, super excited about that. So do you get tripped up sometimes on Spanish words, or do you practice it enough? Because I find myself doing the same thing. Yeah, definitely. It's all about practice. Yeah. That's really what it comes down to. I even trip up on English words. Yeah. People that listen to me on this show know that too. Yeah. So it's really just about practice and being confident in yourself. And at the end of the day, if you have a story to tell, then you should tell it, and you should tell it the way you want to tell it. So that's cool. Well, thank you for calling in. And we're excited for everything you have coming up. Hey, thank you. Also, I wanted to say before I head off, thank you for the B-Day shout out, the 420 special. I listened to it, and I was like, hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, that was super dope. There's a part of me that's immature where it's it's funny to have a birthday on 420, so that's why I remembered. But it is still a great birthday. How was that, by the way? How was your birthday? Good? It was good. We were still in quarantine, but my friends did a drive-by, happy birthday! And low-key, I think my neighbors got mad, and I'm like, listen, let me have it. My masks, but it was dope. Though. It was dope. Yeah. Well, that's good. Thank you for calling in, and like I said, Coldest in the Room, the single with Destruct from the forthcoming album from Frosty. At officially Frosty on Instagram, at Mo Better Mondays, every Monday at 7 p.m. And we'll hope to see you in person when all this is settled, and we can do a performance or something, and it'll be great. For sure. All right, you have a good one, Caesar. Stay safe, and tell the Rodriguez show cast members that I said hello. I will. Thank you. Have a good one, bro. Bye.